Hey, this is Corey from Woodcraft, and today I'm going to show you how I use my ferro rod to start fires with natural materials, so stay tuned. Alright, so when it comes to starting fat wood, there's two methods that I use. The first one is I take the spine of my knife, not the edge, but the spine, and I just scrape the fat wood, which gives me this fluff. So that should be plenty. Just to show you guys. Alright, and then I do not use the spine to strike the ferro rod. I use a dedicated striker because the ferro rod is a lot stronger than the wood, and I want to save that edge on my knife for wood processing, not for striking this. And so I just stick that right in that fluff, give it a couple strikes, and as you can see, it ignites very, very easily. It's a super fast way to start that initial fire. The issue is it's a flash tinder at this point. Because it's so fluffy and so thin, it doesn't burn for very long. And so I use this method when I just need a quick flame. But if I need something that's going to hold for a little bit, as you can see, this is already burnt out. If I need something that's going to hold a flame for a while, I use a different method. Okay, so the second method I use with fat wood is I just cut shavings off this chunk. I know they're falling off the log. I'll collect them. So now these, they're still thin, but they're a lot thicker than that fluff. And so they're going to burn a lot better. Again, you don't need much to get this fire started. So then we'll just accumulate what fell off. Alright, so we got our curls. We're going to put them in a pile. Again, we're going to plant that ferro rod right in those curls. And as you can see, it lights very easy still. There's still a lot of resin in that fat wood. I have a very prime piece of fat wood, and that resin catches, but because these curls are thicker and not as light and fluffy as taking the spine of my knife and making that fluff, this is going to burn for a lot longer. So if you need something that has a little bit more flame, this is the method I use for that. Alright, so as you can see, it didn't take much to get that fire going. Okay, another thing I like to use is cottontail fluff. Now this is going to be hard because of the wind. But basically, cottontail fluff just ignites right now. It's like a big cotton ball. Right? So the more you fluff it up, the more it ignites, but you can see it doesn't hold a flame. So this is burnt up already. It doesn't hold a flame almost at all. What I use cottontail or cattail for is I'll make a feather stick with a harder wood or something that won't ignite very easy, and then I take the cattail and I stick it in that feather stick, and then I ignite the cattail, so it's like I'm starting that feather stick with a match. I'm using flame to ignite that feather stick instead of the ferro rod. And so if I have a feather stick that I just can't get to catch with a ferro rod, I'll put some cottontail on it, and I'll use that cottontail to create flame, which will help ignite that feather stick a lot easier. And then another method I use, another natural material I should say, is birch bark. So this is paper birch. Let me close up my pouch here so I don't lose all my cattail fluff. This is a pouch that I made. It's full of cattail and white birch and fatwood. Okay, so when I'm using the ferro rod on white birch, I take my knife, and this time I use the edge of my knife and I just scrape it. We're just creating all these fine fibers. Okay, so I have all these little tiny pieces of birch bark. Again, it doesn't take much. I put that ferro rod right on there and I ignite it. And so there you have 3 natural materials. This again, it will burn. It burns a lot faster than fatwood, but it does have a burn time. It'll also work wet, windy, doesn't matter. This birch bark will light and hold a flame no matter what the conditions are. And so if it's rainy and wet and everything, I turn to my birch bark. If I need a flame that's going to hold a long flame, I turn to my fatwood. And if I just need like a lighter type material, I turn to my cattail fluff. And so that's the 3 main natural materials that I use with my ferro rod. So as you can see, finding materials in the woods to use as your fire starting material is key, because it's inexpensive, it's free, and if you get good at finding it, you have an unlimited resource, right? You can find as much as you need. And in an area like this where pine and birch are all around me, it's very easy for me to find fatwood or white birch bark. And so it's easy for me to start a fire in any condition, because I have that knowledge and knowing where to find fatwood, where to find birch bark, and how to light it. The benefit of a ferro rod over a lighter is a ferro rod is going to work even when it's wet, even when it's cold. No matter what, this ferro rod will throw sparks. So as long as you know what to throw sparks on, you should always be able to create fire. So with that being said, make sure to leave your knowledge and your questions in that comment section. I learned so much from you guys. You have so much knowledge and you have such great questions too. I always get excited to see what you guys have to say in that comment section. So really keep that going. I really love hearing what you guys have to say. Then make sure to like and share this video to help spread those ideas and that knowledge to the people we care about most. And as always, don't forget to subscribe and come join the pack. I have a new video every Sunday and Thursday, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. Thanks guys.